So I'm going through this book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and it talks about appreciation. And here's the story of a woman who used to be young and beautiful and sought after, but now she had aged. She got a husband, the husband died, and it's a strange thing. She has a lot of money, all these possessions, but times have changed. Her partner is long gone, and she's no longer appreciated really for anything anymore. And her relatives, all they really want, and she can easily sense it, is for her to die so that they can take her possessions and money. So it's kind of a sad story. The more you think about it, it's the more true it is. You see a lot of these elderly women in retirement homes, and many of them were these amazing, beautiful women one time or the other. And people forget that, or, it changes. And so, it's kind of one of those things that if you're a lady, you kind of have to understand, this attention and stuff, it's great and stuff, but sometimes looking for something deeper than that or establishing bonds or social interactions for eternity that will last longer than that is very important as well. So, it's a sad thing, and, this was a woman who used to be sought after. So basically, what this story illustrates is how appreciation can work wonders. He prefaces the chapter by saying that you shouldn't show appreciation or interest to get anything out of someone. You do it simply for being a good person, showing that you care, showing that you're interested in them, and appreciating them for who they are. And I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, in just like 2 pages, this author will literally quote like two or three very successful, famous people, or just oftentimes it's not always someone famous or successful or rich. Sometimes it's just people who have taken these classes that have gone on and done amazing things, or used these principles properly. And so, in this case, this was a story of appreciation. So she was dropped off at this lady's house. I believe it was her aunt-in-law, his aunt-in-law. And so he was about to, he had just learned about appreciation. So he's like, I'm going to try and use this. So he started saying, wow, this house is so amazing. The architecture, the detail, all this stuff. And it truly was a very, very articulately designed house. And it was very large, of course. And all of a sudden, this elderly lady just brightened up. She started beaming. She started talking about how amazing this, how they, her and her husband built this house and sculpted it and designed it themselves, and how much time it took, and how nowadays people don't appreciate these things. And then on and on and on. And long story short, it ended in a very touching conclusion, which was then she started talking about her car, and it was a very fancy, very articulately designed car. And she said how her husband bought it for her shortly before she passed away. And again, you can just imagine her grief. And there she was, and she's like, I want to give you this car. And then he's like, no, 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 I have an expensive car myself. I don't need this. You probably have relatives. And then she's like, I'll be damned if I see any of those relatives who only clearly want me for my money driving this car. And I'll be damned if I see any stranger on the street with this car either. The guy was like, well, you could sell this car too. And he was like, no, I'm not selling it. I'll be damned if any stranger on the street buys this car. It has too much meaning for me. And she's like, I haven't ridden this car since his death. You appreciate nice things. And I'm going to give this car to you. And so again, this chapter alone is chock full of examples of like these heartwarming stories. And again, it's not something where you should be like, okay, I'm going to start doing this. Perhaps I'll get nice cars and stuff for free. I don't think, first off, that's going to happen. Second off, you're coming from the wrong mentality. And third off, you're just being like a bit of a dick. You're not really being selfless or actually a nice person. So, you know, for me, this story and a lot of others in this book is just like pulls at my heartstrings and really makes me think. Because, I mean, how many young people have not really even thought this through? Like, there's plenty of beautiful girls out there, and again, like, you know, it's like they're in their heyday. But I hope, they'll do well once they're elderly and they're not so pretty anymore. So keep that in mind, guys. And I think this is a great story. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.